Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's session where we'll be taking a look at the latest updates in SAP SuccessFactors. So we're just going to wait a moment until everyone has joined us, but in the meantime, we can maybe do a bit of a sound check just to make sure that you can hear us and see the presentation. So if you could please just let me know in the chat if you can see the presentation and hear me well, and I can take a look. Okay, great. Seems like everything's working well, so then we are ready to start. Okay, welcome to the webinar today where we'll be discussing the SAP SuccessFactors release updates for the first half of this year. Our goal is for you to know the most important changes in all modules by the end of the webinar and be able to use them effectively. So to achieve this, today we have all the important experts on our virtual table. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Phoebe Cridland. I'll be guiding you through today's webinar, and I have a few notes for you just before we kick off into the content. If you have any questions during the session, please feel free to ask them directly in the question function on the top right. We have reserved some time at the end of each module to address your questions. And additionally, we are recording today's session, and you'll receive this recording and presentation slides after. Our goal today is to focus on the key updates in a brief and concise manner. However, if you wish to dive deeper into the information, I recommend our release update ebook, which will become available later in this week. And I'll mention this again in our follow-up email when I send the recording and the slides. But I think that's enough of an introduction. We will be presenting the topics in the following order. So we will begin with Marcel, who will share about SuccessFactors Foundation.
Yeah, thank you, Phoebe. I would like to talk about the foundation. There were a lot of updates here, I think around about 100 different updates, but I will concentrate on the, in my opinion, most important ones. So first of all, I would like to start with an update that is really nice for us as consultants, but I think also for administrators on customer side. You have now the possibility in the action search to search for English search terms if you're not logged in with the English language. So if you're, for example, logged in with German, you also have the possibility to search with the English search terms. And it really helps because a lot of the documentation in the system is normally in English, and the translation sometimes for other countries is really specific. So it helps the customer, the administrators, and also us as consultants to use the standard wording from SuccessFactors in the system. And it's really easy. There is a new permission in the area for action search, which you can activate. So you can also decide which users can use this feature. So in my opinion, it's just for administrators and for consultants to use this feature. I think the normal employee and manager will not need this feature, but for administrators is really a big help here. Then next slide, please. Yeah, there were also some new features in the configuration transport center. This is just one of the examples, but I will highlight the other features as well with this slide here. So the configuration transport center was introduced in the last releases, and there are really a lot of changes here. So there are now a lot of buttons in the system. For example, as you can see on this screenshot, in the Manage Configuration UI, or for example, in the pick list center or integration center, there you can find a button to add this configuration to a transport bundle. And then you can use this directly in the transport center to transport your changes to another system. So this is really great. And as you can see, all the different areas are now getting into this feature, and you have it much easier to transport everything. There are also some new search functionality in the transport center, so you can search for your changes or for some functionality there directly. And there's also another nice feature to promote a transport bundle across multiple tenants. So you have the possibility to create one transport bundle, for example, in your dev environment, and then transport it as well as to the test system and to the production system. And I think this really helps to create something like in the old SAP area where you can transport your changes directly to different systems and you don't have to build everything by hand. So it really makes the process easier to move things from one system to another. Next slide, please. There was also the latest role-based permission tool introduced in the last release. And in the last release, it was introduced, but there were some things missing. For example, the MDF permission were missing. Now with this new release, first of all, the latest role-based permission is the default role-based permission tool in the system, but you still have the possibility to change to the legacy version if you want. In the future, I think with the next release, it will be default and the legacy will be not available anymore. So it's really necessary to make you familiar with this new feature or this new tool. As I said, the MDF permission are now working also in the new tool, so you don't have to switch between the legacy version and the new version to create all the permissions for your employees. There's also a better history view now available for the latest role-based permission tool. And you have a functionality to print the permissions as well as for history and for the current permission. And I think this is really nice if you have, for example, an audit and you need to know the changes in the system for your permissions to see what really changed and what is necessary to hand over. So I think the printing is really nice also for documentation. So if you have to document your permissions outside of the system, you can print them as well and put them into your Teams, for example, and hold it over there. And the next slide, please. This is just one example for a fresh design in SuccessFactors. So there were, I don't know how many really. So there were a lot of changes for the UI. So the new Horizon UI was expanded as well. And this is just one example for the org chart. There is a new design. This is for the system and also for the app functionality. And there are other design changes as well in the system to bring all the success factors or all the SAP products to one look and feel. And to synchronize all the systems. So as you know, each time there are a lot of updates here. And some of them are automatically on. For others, you have the possibility to switch them on, to switch to this new design. And this Horizon theme is always the new theme through all the SAP products you can see. So it's really nice to see that SAP is looking to bring all them together into one new theme. And as I said, there were a lot of more updates, but I think these are the most important ones for the system at the moment. And as Phoebe already said, there are some more informations in the article. So if you have any more questions here, please feel free to see over there.
Okay, we have one question in the chat. I keep hearing about SAP Joule. Have you seen anything further about Joule in H1 2024?
Yes, there were a lot of changes with Joule. So the AI is coming more and more. For example, you can now chat with Joule and give her some hints about things you want to do. I know from the time module, for example, you can now track your time in Joule, or you can say, show me my payslip, and then Joule knows how to show you the payslip in the system. So if you have a license for Joule and for the AI functionality, it's also possible to use it even more in the system.
Great. Thank you, Marcel. I think we are ready to move on to the next topic. Tomasz will now take us through updates to SuccessFactors learning.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to present you all the changes that were introduced to new learning management system in this release. Looking at those changes, majority of them are connected with the user interface, which was introduced in H2H 2023. One of the biggest change, Phoebe, can we move to another slide? One of the new changes is the change in the way how this courses are displayed to the user. Previously, all the courses which were assigned as a mandatory and non-mandatory courses were displayed in the same section, which create confusion for user because they were not aware which courses have higher priority. Currently, with that change, the courses will be separated, so mandatory courses will be visible on the main interface, and the non-mandatory courses will have their unique section where will be gathered. So there will be distinction between those courses, and it will be easier for users to navigate through the new interface. Can we move to the next slide, please? Then talking about the new interface, there's also a slight change in regards to the recommend suggested for me, which previously was named suggested by peers. Before the new release, the suggestions which were displayed in that section were only suggestions which were made by the peers. In current form and shape, they will be displaying all the recommendations, so recommendation made by peers and by admins. So all the recommendation will be gathered in one place, which enriches the user experience. There's also one feature which is very unique, and it's hard to show it in the screenshot. It's called the high require learning section on the new learning homepage. As I already mentioned, there is a dedicated section which displays all the mandatory courses, required courses to the user, but of course, there is a situation that some of the users already completed all the courses or don't have any required courses in their panel, in the section. So before the change, the section was showing in the interface, but without any data. So from the user perspective, it could be confusing because they might thought they don't have any courses to do, but in fact they had courses, but with the lower priority. Currently, if the user don't have any courses, required courses assigned to them, the entire section will disappear and only courses with lower priority will be displayed to them. Banners. In my opinion, banners is a very fun feature which affects admins and users. Banners is something that the administrator will have the possibility to create in the background interface, and the outcome of this banner will be that the outcome of this feature will be that the banners will display for the users. Before this release, the interface was built, of course, from section, but one of them, one which was displayed at the very top of the interface was banner, but which was not configurable. Of course, administrators were allowed to change the image and the text, but couldn't add more banners. In current shape and form, administrator can add up to 49 different banners to the user. Only four of them will be displayed, but it's a great possibility for administrators to promote certain activities in the system, promote courses or promote learning programs without sending any notification, as those information will be displayed and accessible for the users from their home page. Can we move? Yeah. Quite similar feature added to the system, to the banner, is custom cards in the new learning experience. The key difference is that there will be dedicated section, so it will be up to administrators if they want to use it or not, where they can create custom cards which can, similarly to the banners, promote courses, promote learning programs to the users. The key difference is that the way how the cards are built. So for the end users, they only see the image and the name of the card. But if they click on it, the whole page will open, which can be populated with various different informations. The cards support HTML. They are able to display video. So it's a great option for the administrator to enrich the user experience and promote the things which before this release were not possible through the new interface. It's quite similar function as custom tiles in previous interface. Depreciation of legacy learning home, that's a very important information shared by SAP. The key point from that information is that from May 2024, the learning homepage will not be supported, so any defects will not be fixed. And in May 2024, this feature will be completely removed from the system, which means that from 2025, only the new learning experience will be available for LMS users. So we still have time to move the things that we're currently using in the old interface to the new interface, but we still have time. It's a year, so learning history update. Learning history update interface was a little bit redesigned. Now it will follow the Fiori guidelines, so it will be aligned with Horizon theme. In terms of the functionalities, there are no updates. The key update in here is that in the way how it looks, it's not that compact. I would say, from my opinion, it's easier to read for the users, and it's a little bit more active. The overall functionality is not changed, but the how it looks is more readable and enjoyable for the user. One of the key changes, if we're looking from the admin perspective, is the possibility to merge user in bulk through import file. So far, it was only possible to do it manually. So we had to select the users that we want to merge and process that transaction. Now, this can be done through import file, through the Excel file, which speeds things up. It will speed the merge transaction for the admins, as they can now do the high amount of they can merge more user in one go, and of course it's obvious it's easier to prepare Excel file and upload into the system and initiate the transaction rather than to select one user individually and mark which one should be primary and which one should be deleted.
Great. We do have one question for you, Tomasz. Many customers did not move to the new learning homepage in 2023 due to it not meeting feature parity with the current view. Following this release, would you encourage customers to revisit this decision?
I would strongly recommend to review the possibilities, because from what we had, from the discussions that we had with clients, the main concern regarding the new interface was the lack of possibility of creating custom tiles, as this is definitely something that clients use currently through the custom cards. The same feature is being supported, so the things which were not possible in 2023 are definitely available now. It really depends on the client. I would strongly recommend to move to that interface, as in my opinion is more user friendly and it's clearer. And of course, we also need to have in mind that in 2024-5 it will be completely deleted. So at some point we will need to move to the new interface. So it is better to move now and get the user familiarized with a new learning experience, rather than do it on the last go.
Great, thank you, Tomasz. Now we will be moving on to Employee Central Cross Topics, and Stephen will be taking us through this module.
Thanks, Phoebe. Good morning, everybody. So in cross topics, I'll be talking mainly about the integrations that exist between SuccessFactors and other systems, primarily other SAP systems. So you can go to the next slide, please. So a lot of customers are using what's called core hybrid integration for employee data. So you might typically say be performing most employee master data updates, capturing people's addresses, job info, what have you, on a SuccessFactors system, but doing core functions like payroll in a back-end SAP system. And so the two systems are integrated, with the SuccessFactors system being the master for employee data. Now, one limitation that we've had up to this point has been that any one SAP system can only be linked with one SuccessFactors system to synchronize the employee data. And now this can be a limitation if in a larger company you might have multiple SuccessFactors systems that are handling employees in different countries. It can also be a challenge if you're in the middle of a project implementation and you're doing a phased rollout. So you're doing part of your company at a time. And you might want to use separate SuccessFactors systems, one for test and one for production, but linked to the same system while you're doing a phased rollout. So that up till now, that's not been possible, but now with the if you have the correct SAP support packages, new functionality is available. The screenshot is there. It's a little bit small, I'm aware, but you can essentially create multiple EC instances, as they're called, on the SAP backend, and link to them. And if we can go to the next slide, there's some additional functionality here that helps as well. One issue that you've got with handling multiple SuccessFactors instances is that you cannot be sure that your employees will have a unique ID anymore. So, for example, you can imagine a SuccessFactors system in the UK with a particular employee has an ID 1234. There may well be another SuccessFactors system for the same company in a different territory where you have another employee with the same ID. So as a sort of prerequisite step for using this integration across multiple EC instances, you need to essentially add the EC instance ID to the mapping so that we can be sure that we know who we're talking about, which employee 1234 we're talking about. And so this program here, shown in the screenshot, enables you to do a pre-run before you switch on the multiple instances integration, and it adds the EC instance ID to the employee mapping, making sure that everything is unique. Okay, Phoebe, if you go to the next slide, please. Now, here we're talking about SAP master integration from a back-end SAP system, or from a linked SAP system to a SuccessFactors system. And there are actually a couple of completely new integrations introduced in this release. The first of them is for contingent workers. So on the back-end SAP system, these people would be represented not as employees, but as external workforce. And you might have a scenario where you want to integrate that data into your SuccessFactors system. And so then you can manage your workforce, both of your own internal employees and your externals, really kind of as one. So this is a completely new integration. It picks up that external workforce from the SAP master data and pulls them across into SuccessFactors as contingent workers. Phoebe, next slide, please. Now, the other half of that integration process is also to pull through suppliers. So on a SAP system, these are represented as vendors, and this integration, which is new, will pull them across into the SuccessFactors system and create them as vendors there. Now, this is important if you want to manage work orders on SuccessFactors, because when you create a work order, you want to assign it to a supplier, and so the supplier is an essential master data object to have for that scenario to work. So overall, with these two integrations, you can imagine that you're processing work orders on SuccessFactors, and you can have that view of the total workforce available to you, both your internal staff and your external staff, with these new integrations. Phoebe, next slide, please. I think we skipped over one there. Can you go back one? Yeah. So in the employee integration scenario, again, we now have a new tool which is called Identify to Exclude from Processing. So what this is about is when you're integrating employees from SuccessFactors to a backend SAP system, obviously it does a lot of error checking, and you can see in the error logs what happened. Now, most errors are fine in the sense that they show up in the log and you can see what happened, and the process carries on to the end anyway. But occasionally you get exceptional errors where the employee is trying to create the employee on the back-end SAP system, and you might have some kind of inconsistency with the data which is not obvious, but it causes the creation of the employee to terminate on the SAP system. The problem that causes is that the whole run will then stop. So let's say that you're integrating employees every day between the two systems, maybe 200 employees in one run. If the 10th employee in the run has an exceptional error, that stops the process there, and so the other 190 don't get processed. So obviously this is not great for ongoing process to work. So what this tool does is identify proactively for you people who have employees that have experienced that kind of exceptional error, and allows you to isolate them, exclude them from the next run. That will allow all the other 200 in my example to continue, and then you can focus on fixing the error for that one employee without affecting everybody else. Okay, next slide please, Phoebe. Yeah, so migrating employees with concurrent employment. So again, the focus here really is migrating data out of a SuccessFactors system into another system. So the baddie that's available there allows you to have now has a finer control over the sort of data which is shared across concurrent employment. So that's stuff like personal info and address info, and the contact info like email and phone. So previously with this API, with this type of integration, when you had an employee with a lot of concurrent employments, multiple employments, you got the full sort of set, or you got the employment, you got the personal data and the contact data based on the first employment, which isn't necessarily correct. So this new baddie allows you to filter and target the correct address and contact data for that employment. Okay. Next slide, please, Phoebe. This is the final slide, I think. So yeah, the Compound Employee API, which is the sort of workhorse API that a lot of employee integrations use. It's always getting new features. In this particular release, they've added some new filters, employment end date being one of them, and some attributes that relate to the manager. So with these new attributes, you can get more information about the manager. You can get the correct external IDs of the employee manager. It's very useful because normally you would have to then look them up again using another API call. Now you do it in one. And the employment end date filtering, the focus there is being able to remove or filter out employments which are terminated. So when you're retrieving employee data in an API scenario, it doesn't have to be for a SAP integration, it can be a custom integration. You quite often want to only focus on the active employments, not the terminated one, because people can have quite a lot of employment history, multiple employments, and some of them terminated. So these filters allow you to basically focus and retrieve only the data that you want. I think that's it, Phoebe. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll take any
Great,
questions.
thank you, Stephen. We have time for one question. I am really keen on the cross-application timesheet functionality between SAP SuccessFactors and time management and SAP S/4HANA. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's an integration which we've used for various clients. Yes, so it's relatively simple to set up, and it does work well. Yeah, so it basically picks up anything on SuccessFactors where the time has been valuated and approved. I should say approved and then valuated, and then you basically just have to map the time types across to attendance types on the SAP S/4HANA system. As I say, the actual integration config is fairly basic. It pulls across those attendances, whether they're in days or hours. It handles that correctly. And yeah, you get the usual sort of error logging that you might have seen if you've ever seen the employee integration. So yeah, it's a reasonably sound integration. It's been active with some of our customers for over 2 years now, and yeah, it works well. So it's something that Zalaris can definitely help you with.
Great, thank you, Stephen. We will now be moving on to our next topic, which is Employee Central Core, and Sonia will take us through this topic.
Hello, everyone. I am not Sonia. I'm stepping into her place today. My name is Nikolai. I am fairly new to Employee Central with 1 year experience, but I'm enjoying it, and the releases this year have been very good as well. I think a common denominator we can use has been simplification and user-friendliness, as we will see in the coming slides. So if we can go ahead and take a look. So one of my favorites from this release is the new experience for the people profile. So in the screenshot, what is highlighted in red is now known as the spotlight view. This is for employee branding and connection purposes. So there will be different tiles and sections here, as we can see the skills, competencies, and anything that you may want there. Badges are nice to have, a good connection, possibility for the employees. And then on the left-hand side with the profile picture, the name and a bit of key information is now known as the people preview. This will also be available in the org chart overview, as well as when searching for said employees in the action search. This is an opt-in and opt-out functionality. So if you're not completely ready or don't see a use case for it yet, you can choose to not include this view. However, we do recommend it, as it will become standard in due course, and like I said, offers branding and connection possibilities for employees. If we can move to the next one, please, Phoebe. Yes, so diagnostics tool for Employee Central transactions. This one is a bit wordy and a bit complicated, but it is very nice and very useful for manager self-service and operators. So this provides a snapshot view of transaction stages and individual details. It gives a comprehensive coverage of HR workflows and, like I said, transactional data. It is a new tool which offers a good overview. It is permission based, so you can only see what you obviously are permissioned for, and you can see what stages, workflows, approvals, new hires or rehires or anything of that sort is currently in. So a very nice tool for day-to-day tasks to be laid out in a more comprehensive manner. Yes, this one also very nice. So email address are now validated by default. Previously, this was a opt-in option, so that whenever an email was updated, it was checked for formatting. This is no longer opt-in. This is now just standard. So as we can see on the right-hand side, there are now only 3 selectable buttons left, whereas in the below, we can see that the 4th one has been taken away. The functionality still works the same. This is just now on by default and cannot be switched off. Another very nice update you can now add to a transport bundle. This was touched on previously as well. So in the system, you now have more options for more areas to add to a transport bundle, specifically for configuration UI, off-cycle event batches, objects, and dynamic group filters. So these can be added to a transport bundle that you can then move between systems. So this is very nice if you've made a larger change in, for example, your test environments, you've tested successfully and you're happy with the changes. Now you don't have to go in and configure it all again. You can add it to a transport bundle and move it as a whole to the desired target instance. So obviously reducing time spent on making larger changes or any changes for that matter. Yes, so centralized services continues to be a big topic for the EC release notes, and we have seen universal updates this time around for various functionalities. So in managed self-service, users can now manage functionalities like dependent information and various employee details through these new updates made to centralized services. Again, the common denominator being improving efficiency and usability in the system. So this simplifies the data management tasks within the SuccessFactors suite, and it makes it easier for users to handle various HR functions. Region and country-specific enhancements cater to a diverse needs for different countries, and this new update helps ensuring compliance and efficiency in those countries and regions as well. And yes, here we actually have some info on Joule that was asked for earlier. This is also a very nice change, and I know that Joule is here to stay and continues to be worked on, specifically for this release and topic. We now have Joule assisting with person insights for compensation discussions. So with this new technology, managers can go to a people profile and obtain insights on employee compensation, comparing it to employees in the organization as a whole, peer positions, target compensation, median compensation, anything of that sort, and get a comprehensive review of how the next compensation talk should go with this employee, or how to proceed in these conversations, generally aiding in conversation topics surrounding compensation specifically for this release. And then Employee Central Quick Actions. This was added in the most recent release, and they have now updated the functionality both in SF, but now also in Microsoft Teams. They have added a load of different functionalities that are now supported as part of the quick actions. We see some of them highlighted here and also listed on the left, so we'll just go through a couple of them. Updating addresses, email addresses, excuse me, emergency contacts, job relationships, phone number, and other relevant information is now available to the manager and employee as well at a quick glance through these new quick actions. You can now configure the availability and placements of the tasks, and it is also possible with the new release to configure 8 fields for each quick actions, where previously only 5 were available. So now you have a bit more customization and user friendliness in this to have all info required included.
The people preview and spotlight view looks great. I think a real step forward for user experience, and I can see a lot of leaders will see the benefit from having more information at the touch of their fingers. So thank you, Nicolaj, for taking us through this module. We will now be moving on to our next topic, which will be time management with Laura.
Yeah, so I'll be guiding you through the time management release, and this year it's quite heavy on time tracking improvements, but there are also some nice things on time offside. Let's move to the next one. So the first change actually is in connection to changes to people profile and spotlight. And this is about the out of office banner in the employee profile. As you can see in the screenshots, we have the previous, how it looked. It was a date range from 2, but in the new profile, we'll be getting a flag out of office and back on set date. And the improvement here is that the date is now calculated including not only the planned absences, but also work schedule, planned holidays, not planned holidays, but public holidays. So we get more precise date when the employee will be returning back to the office. And this is now visible in both in Spotlight and the new people profile. Let's move to next. Then time forms will now be available for employee self-service. If you remember, then in previous releases, time forms started as early adoption feature, which later moved on to general availability. And now in the first half release, we're getting an option to make them available for employee self-service. Time forms work as on the basis of document generation. So it means you'll have to create templates in the document generation tool and make them available through permissions to your employees if you wish them to have options to generate some forms from the time of workbench. Next one. Then a nice quality of life improvement is coming to global assignments. With this release, we're getting automated support for the time account generation and accruals. So when you're adding a global assignment for an employee and or editing this assignment and time off information is added, you'll get time accounts generated and populated as per your rules. Previously, this was not supported, and this is quite a nice change, meaning that it takes off the additional work from the admins. You no longer have to run calendar jobs manually. Instead, the system will be taking care of this for you. And this was automatically on for everyone, so there are no configuration changes needed. The next small improvement is that you will be able to upload non-image files in iOS mobile app for SuccessFactors in the time of module. Previously, we were limited only to images, but now the list of supported formats is quite long, so you don't need to worry about changing the format of your attachment. You can just upload it and submit the absence. Then another quality of life improvement for customers with more complex time profiles. The time type filter rule is getting the restriction removed. So previously you only were allowed to add only 10 rules to your time profile, but this restriction no longer is there. So now you can add as many as you need to your time profiles. And the rules obviously need to be configured by yourself, but the change itself is automatically on. Next one. And a new feature coming for time tracking users is Timesheet Approval Center. This is probably one of my favorite changes from the release. The screenshots are rather small, but from what you can see, it's a whole new view when you're approving the timesheet workflows. This gives you a much nicer view when you're looking at the pending workflows, and it also gives you a status for all the timesheets that you have for your direct reports. So you can see to be submitted, to be approved, the recorded hours, the other details that you would normally see on the timesheet workflow when you go into it. But now in the approval center, this is visible already when you navigate to the approval center without going into the details of specific timesheet workflow. And this change is a bit specific because you'll have to contact the product support to have it enabled. So it's very, very fresh and new. Let's move to the next one. And this is also regarding timesheets. So now the Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V shortcuts are being supported in the timesheet. So that means that you can go into the timesheet and copy and paste the entries you have already made into a day and paste them into a different day. Might be relevant if you have repeating entries over the week or the month. That makes it easier to fill in the timesheet. And this change is automatically on for the time tracking users. Let's move on. And the very last important change for time management is addition of more monthly timesheets. So this is a new feature coming. This allows you to have a monthly view on your timesheet and also a monthly approval flow for the timesheet. If you remember previously that we could approve by day, by week, but now we are getting also a new period. And yeah, so you will be able to do these activities on a monthly basis. And the same as Timesheet Approval Center, this is also a very new feature, and you would have to contact the product support to have it enabled. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Laura. It looks like the usability will really improve with this update. We do have one question for you. We have been asking for the ability to complete time approvals en masse. Is this available only for managers or any timesheet approvers?
So with the Timesheet Approval Center, this is available also for the managers. There is a possibility to mark set amount or all the workflows you wish to approve and have them approved that way.
Great. Thank you, Laura. We will now move on to Employee Central Payroll, and Kapil will take us through this topic.
Hello, good day everyone. I'll be guiding you with the features introduced in the latest SuccessFactors release for Employee Central Payroll module. Maybe I want to, yeah. So let's start with the first feature, which is payroll localization. So SAP has introduced a new version for country Slovenia. Just to remind you, in the previous release, a country version for Greece was introduced, and with this latest release, ECP is now available in 51 countries. So what it means to the customers that SAP has introduced the functionality of replicating the data from Employee Central into Employee Central Payroll via the point-to-point integration. So it has now been enabled for the country Slovenia, and other payroll localized features are enabled in ECP system. Thank you. Okay. So next feature, an important one related to the pay statement. So customers with the access to SAP's chatbot Joule can now ask the pay statements from the chatbot. So with this feature, SAP have demonstrated their ability to modernize their products by innovating with AI technologies and delivering an ever-growing or evolving conversational user interface. And the other changes with pay statement are related to deprecation of arrow-based statement integration and pay statement direct integration with the synchronization support package 85 and Fury-like pay statements. So customers who are still using old services for pay statements are advised to transition into the new pay statement direct service, and allowing this to customer and making it easy to transition from the old pay statement into the new pay statement. SAP has now given an option to perform the configuration through the cloud integration automation service that's available to the customer in order to like streamline this process of transitioning from the old pay statement into the new pay statement. If no questions, maybe move on to the next slide. Yeah. So the next feature is related to SAP system configuration object that will allow you to open mashups in a new tab on the employee's profile page. And with this enhancement, like the user experience has now been improved by allowing multiple tabs for different mashup. Before this release, you can't open a mashup on a new tab, and maintaining multiple mashups and going back to employee's profile was feasible, but it was more of cumbersome to the admins who have to maintain multiple mashups, and they have to like toggle through the mashups, and then there wasn't any option to open up the mashups into the multiple tabs. However, with this feature, the overall user experience has now been improved. Yeah, so the next feature is related to manage configuration for payroll control center. So SAP has moved the auxiliary calculation section onto a separate tab. So this is to provide a consistent and improved user experience within the manage configuration. Previously, this tab was available on the alerts tab in validation rules, and now this tab has a sorting function available that allows you to adjust the positions of the auxiliary calculation rules that you can configure straight from that tab available under the manage configuration. So next is a new feature in this release related to the work zone home cards. So there are 4 home cards available in SuccessFactors work zone. So I would say 4 new home cards. So these new home cards will allow employees to receive reminders for work anniversary and birthday of the subordinates. And the other 2 cards are notification related to offboarding task and off-cycle payment details that will improve the user experience. So last for ECP on our deck is like this release that has field level enhancements for different countries. The first main enhancement allows to replicate the country specific field into InfoType 2001 for the United States for linked absences. And the second main is for India, wherein the new PAN inoperative field has been added that drives the TDS calculation. And you can refer to this slide for all the other country specific enhancements. These are the highlights for these are the highlights for this release for ECP. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Kapil. We do have 2 questions for you, so we can go through those.
Sure.
Does the new pay statement direct cater for all the ESS scenarios?
Yes, it does. The new service for pay statement direct contains the full scope of pay statement integrations, which means customers now have a single pay statement service that caters for all the scenarios, your mobile device, your laptop, everything. And also it eliminates the need of transferring the pay results from ECP system back into EC system. So it is a single service that caters for all the scenarios.
Great, thank you. And we have one more. Are these changes applied automatically in the ECP system?
So all these modifications will be included in the synchronization package D2. I have checked this morning and it hasn't been released to customers as yet. But once it is, you will need to contact SAP support to have this patch implemented in your system.
Great. Thank you so much, Kapil. We will move on to the next topic, which is recruiting, and
Thank you.
Marcel will take us through this topic.
Yeah, thank you. So welcome again from my side. I would like to talk about some of the recruiting features. So Phoebe, first slide, please. Yeah, first of all, there were a lot of changes in the applicant management tool. So after the introduction in the last releases, there are now some new features. On this slide, this is just one of the features, but I would like to talk about all the features here. So as you can see in this feature, the Forward as Applicant button is now also available on the new workbench. In the past, it was also available in the legacy workbench, and with the first upgrade, it was not available here in the new design, but now SAP made it to the new workbench as well. There is also a new applicant type available now called referred. So beside the internal, external, and agency candidate, you can also see if someone is coming from a referral program, and you will see them also in the new applicant management tool. Yes, and there's also some other new features with filters. So you can filter now by interview results through the list of candidates. So you have the possibility to show the interview results here and also to filter for them. So you can check for the best interview results from the candidates. And yeah, as you can see, there are some changes to the applicant management tool, and I'm pretty sure there will be much more in the next releases as well, because SAP really tries to build this new functionality more and more. And I think the old legacy workbench will also be deleted in one of the next releases. So it's really important also to make you familiar with this new applicant management tool and to find out the new features here as well. Yes, so then next slide, please. I think this is the most important update in recruiting this time. There is a new automatically hire feature for applicants from recruiting or onboarding into EC. And SAP promise less manual interventions. So this feature is for some processes in recruiting at the moment, for the regular hire, the concurrent employment, and the global assignment, and also in onboarding for regular hire, rehire, and rehire with new employment. Very important information about this feature: all the on-change, on-save, and on-post-save rules are supported here. So if there are currently some rules in your system, you don't have to be worried that they will not work with this new feature. There is some customer configuration needed to activate this feature. It depends if you're using onboarding or recruiting. So in both cases, you will find a field in your settings. So for example, in recruiting, in managed recruiting settings, you will find a button, enable automatic hire for recruiting. Yes, and so you can activate this feature on your own in the system. If there is some manual intervention for the applicant, they appear in the Manage Pending Hires with a little icon called Automatic Hire. And so you get the information that there is something to do for you. But I really think it's a great feature, and it will help to connect the systems, the integration between recruiting, onboarding, and EC more and more, and make it more easier for our customers to transport the data from the modules to EC and to complete the hire process here. There's also an update in the career site builder for the search result. You have now, as you can see on the picture, two little icons in the search results. One icon is for a map, the other is for a list. If you select the icon for the map, Google Maps map will open and will show you all the different positions on the Google Maps site, and you can select from this. If you select the list, you will get the classic list for the search results. and yeah, you can search for a new position over there. The feature needs to be configured by the customer in the career site builder. So if you're interested in this, you can go into the career site builder and do the changes over there, and then you will get these little icons into your career search. So next slide, please. Thank you. Yes, there's also a big update for business rules. So SAP tries to delete or to delete the basic rules in the system. And so there are two new scenarios in recruiting. One is for job requisition and the other for offer details. And these new scenarios will guide you or will provide you new functionality in the system. So you can create your, I would say, old business rules for recruiting, but also some new features. And I'm really interested to find out what are the new features in the system, what new possibilities we get with this business rules now, because the basic rules, you had a lot of possibilities, but sometimes you had a problem that there are some walls on the side of the business rules. So I'm really looking forward to test this new business rules and to try out with my customers what we can build for them in the future. Yes. There were also some new features for AI functionality, but I think these four are the most important for the recruiting at the moment.
Great, thank you, Marcel, for your insights on this topic. We have one question for you. We have a lot of recruiters. Do you think they will need a lot of training when we enable the redesigned applicant management tool?
I don't think so. So in my opinion, it's just a move from the talent pipeline from the upper part to the left side, and everything else is really easy to understand in the new application management tool. So I don't think there's a lot of training needed. It's really easy to understand the new feature and to work with it. And SAP really helps to make it easier for the recruiters. And so I think no training needed.
Great, that's good to hear. Thank you, Marcel. We will now head into our next topic, which is SuccessFactors onboarding, and Isham will take us through this topic.
Hi everyone. So I'll be presenting the onboarding changes for this release, and SAP has introduced a lot of great features and changes in this release, so we will be going through them all. Yep. So the first one is there is a new feature called Your Onboarding Checklist for new hires, and so this feature, the onboarding checklist page, offers a streamlined and user-friendly interface for new hires to navigate through their onboarding process efficiently. So divided into 4 sections on the left side, it presents a clear overview of tasks and enable easy selection for the new hires. So the sections includes onboarding data collection for personal and additional collection, compliance tasks for essential form completion via e-signature, additional onboarding tasks for organization-specific custom tasks, and explore onboarding guide for essential tools and guidance. So this structured approach ensures new employees have all the resources they need to seamlessly integrate into the company and begin their roles effectively. So these improvements are very useful, ensure that new hires easily locate and prioritize tasks, resulting in a smoother onboarding experience overall. So the next one is mass completion option. And so this one is hiring managers can now select up to 100 new hires to perform onboarding activities such as welcome messages, assigning buddies, or making recommendations. So this task, this feature streamlines this process, accessible via a dedicated button on the onboarding dashboard when multiple hires are selected. Additionally, this option is available for administrators directly on the homepage. So this enhancement is very useful as it improves efficiency for organizations engaged in high volume hiring, allowing tasks to be completed for multiple new hires simultaneously rather than individually. So it's a very great task. So the next one is support for additional role types. So what SAP has done is they have now introduced 4 new roles in onboarding. So earlier there were only one role. There was only one role, that was a manager. So now they have introduced 4 new additional role types. That is employee HR, metrics manager, custom manager, and second level manager. So these roles can be utilized to adjust responsible groups in onboarding general settings. So new hire data review, additional steps can in onboarding can be assigned to these roles as well in onboarding. So the next is the final review step. So this is a new feature that SAP has introduced. So this offers a flexible and optional step in the onboarding process, and it can be integrated into active workflows following personal data collection, additional data collection, or document flow stages. So once activated, users can modify data or request corrections directly on the provide personal data page. So here's how it works. So upon completion of the final review, clicking review completed smoothly transitions the new hire to ready to hire status, granted that all onboarding tasks are complete. So request correction triggers a user-friendly pop-up tile for request personal data correction for the clarification. So this feature is very useful as it enables new hires to rectify any data inaccuracies without the need to restart the entire onboarding process. So earlier, if we needed to make any change in the onboarding process, so we needed to restart the onboarding process. But using this step, there is no need to restart the onboarding process. So automatically hire applicants. This is a great, and this is the I'll say this is the biggest change in the onboarding process, in onboarding and recruiting process. So now we can set up automatically onboard applicants from onboarding into Employee Central without any manual intervention using the Manage Pending Hires tool. So applicants who aren't successfully hired through the automatic hire process will appear in Manage Pending Hires for manual processing. So there are 2 new icons and SAP has introduced in Manage Pending Hires tool. One is automatic hire icon. So the users that are successfully hired from onboarding to Employee Central automatically, they will be with this icon automatically hire. And there is alert icon if there is any issue due to data or configuration issue, and the onboardee is not automatically transferred to Employee Central, then it will be alerted over here. So yeah, so so this automatic feature is very useful as it eliminates the manual steps and reducing the time to hire applicants in Employee Central. Manager and the next one is manager and start date changes recorded in onboarding. So now hiring manager and onboarding applicants can adjust the new hires manager and change the start date of the new hires in onboarding before the manage pending hire step, and they do not need to restart the onboarding process for this change. So earlier, like if any manager or any start date related change needs to be made in onboarding, we needed to restart the onboarding process. But SAP has introduced this feature. Now we do not need to restart the onboarding process, but hiring managers and onboarding participants can do it without restarting the process. So this will save a lot of time for the hiring managers and onboarding participants. So the next change is active employees are included in the rehire match. So earlier, only the terminated employees were included in the rehire match, but now the active employees are also included in the rehire match. So if there is a if there is a rehire that is coming from recruitment, and the profile can match with the active employees as well, and with the future date determinations as well. So as part of the update, users can now select matching active employees profile with the future date determination and proceed to rehire them for a new employment. And the example is a contingent worker with a future date termination date can be rehired as a full-time employee for a future start date before their current contract ends. So this will save a lot of time for the organization, and this is a very cool feature for the contingents and for the continuation of the employments. So completed processes. So there is a filter that SAP has added in the onboarding dashboard. Now we can filter on the completed processes as well. So SAP has added a toggle button on the onboarding dashboard. So if any administrator or hiring manager wants to filter the completed onboardies, so they can just turn on this button and see all the completed processes. Onboarding support for global assignment. So SAP has introduced the onboarding process for the global assignment as well. So this feature, using this feature, like if the global assignment is initiated from Employee Central, so we can initiate the onboarding process for the global assignment employees as well. So, but data modifications and host assignments are managed directly in Employee Central. They are not managing. We cannot manage them in onboarding, but the changes will be reflected in onboarding. So yeah, this enhancement, yeah. That's it.
Great, thank you for your insights, Ishan. It seems like there is quite a few good time-saving changes and improvements in usability. We have a question for you. The automatic hire from onboarding feature will remove an admin burden for us. Do you see any risks or things we should consider before enabling it?
So a proper assessment of the onboarding process needs to be done before enabling this feature. Yeah, this feature removes a lot of burden for admins, but we need to make sure that like we are assessing the data that is going from onboarding to Employee Central. We have new hire data review step in onboarding. We need to see that like if we are reviewing all the information in the new hire data review step and before completing the onboarding process, if we are enabling this step. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Ishan.
Thank you.
We will now head into the next topic, which is compensation and variable pay, and Vidya Saga will take us through this.
Thank you, Phoebe. Hi, everyone. So I'm here to take you through on the major and the important changes happened this in the latest release. So which is related to compensation, variable pay, and of course, a couple of slides related to the rewards and recognition. Okay, starting with a major change, like which has happened here in the executive review. See, earlier we used to have only XLS as a feature to export and import the data from the executive review screen. So with this release, so it's an extension like where we have the feature of XLSX, so which is a new one introduced this time, and where you can export and re-import the data using XLSX. So that is where like users were struggling earlier. So other customers were struggling earlier with a huge data dependency and all, and with the latest versions of Excels. So that's where like now you can use both the options which are available. So that's a major update this time in the executive review. Moving on to the next one. So where you have the form view. So if you remember the screens of compensation, so where the user go and enter into the worksheets. So there, the search window is a it used to have like a huge screen, like with a less worksheets displaying in a single screen. And with this new release, you can see now this exactly new search view, so which is very much visible in the single screen, and you will have a more list of worksheets showing up in the screen. That's one functionality which is added in the screen. The second one is you can create the folders by yourself on the left hand side. So in order to maintain your worksheets and all, you can create your own folders. So which is on the left hand side. Okay. So by using the screens, like you can create and maintain the data, the folders, and you can use like in progress folders clearly maintained and tracked properly. Moving on to the next one. So we have this time compensation job information published with centralized services. So earlier what we used to do is when you are publishing the data back, this is especially when you are having a promotions along with your compensation process. When you are publishing it back, so there will be a separate record entered as a job info, and then a separate record entered as a compensation info. So there in the back end, like there will be two separate records maintained. By enabling this centralized services checkbox, what it does is like it will combine when you are publishing the data back, it won't go and publish as a two different records. It will go and publish as one single record when you're doing a promotions as well, or any other data you are publishing from your compensation. So, and this functionality will be working fine only when you enable this functionality, like enable compensation published to Employee Central through the centralized service integration. Okay, moving on to the next one. So this is related to your plan instructions. So usually the instructions tab on the worksheets, you will see default that will be named as a plan instruction, and then it will show the instructions whichever you maintain it in the system. But when you want to name or change the label of the header, the plan instructions, we never had this option from the front end to change or modify it, the label. So that we used to do in the back end in the XML. So, but this time, so we got the feature which is in the front end. So you can, as a customer, like when you have the access to it, so you can also make the changes. The label changes can be done. At the same time, multiple languages can also be maintained. So both functionalities are enabled this time in the front end. Okay, moving on to the next one. So where the experience matters to the users. So here, if you remember, in the executive review, we have the filter options. So which are like most advanced filter options we have. That gives you more flexibility for each end user, every customers. And that's the best feature in the executive review, where you can filter out the employees and check the budgets and all. But earlier versions, so when you enter into your find user, and as you can see it on the screen on the right side, select users. So you can go for one employee filter or multiple employees also can be selected. But removing the employees is a manual activity earlier. Say every employee you need to click on the crossbar and then close one by one employee like that. So that is a little bit hard. So that's why this time the clear all option was enabled. So if it is more than one employee, the clear all option will be enabled, and you can simply click on that button to clear out all the employees from the search. Okay, so that's the feature about. Next one is about, again, this is related to your publishing back to Employee Central, where we used to face certain challenges when we are publishing the data back to Employee Central, when there are certain warnings or error messages enabled in the Employee Central side. So what we used to do is like we will go to the Employee Central and we will raise a request to Employee Central consultant to disable those warnings, and then we use it to publish the data back. So now we came up with a new functionality here. You can publish the data back without disabling anything in the Employee Central side. So you can enable this functionality, ignore warnings when publishing from compensation to Employee Central, and you can publish the data back to Employee Central. So that will give you a more flexibility. So you don't have to, sometimes you may forget to enable and you will keep on getting the error messages or the warning messages. So to avoid that discrepancy, so you can enable this functionality always. Okay, and there's a huge change in the manual, in the statement section here. So these are the standard statements where we never had an option till now for converting into multiple languages, for adding up the languages. So we always use it to create separate templates in order to maintain the statements in a different languages. So this is a huge enhancement, I can say. So where you have an option to add language and maintain the language for the fields or for the text. So you can maintain in different languages now. So that's a big change here in the statements. And at the same time, when we create any standard statement, so what we used to do is we need to click on save and we need to go back to the manage statement templates, which is one step back, in order to preview it and see whether the statement is showing up correctly or not. But that is no more. We have the functionality, the preview functionality on the same screen where you are designing. So that's the below screen on the right side. So where it shows preview, as in like when you design it, you can preview it and you can verify it. So that's a good functionality as well. I can say in the standard statement, that's a major change. Yes, please. Next. And this is related to total compensation plans. So when we are using a total compensation plan, which is your combination of your compensation and variable pay, right? And we never had this functionality, say, I mean, we had this functionality, but it's not like we can have a variable pay individual view. So when using total compensation plan. So now this has been enabled and you can see variable pay individual view. So you can see the statement available in the same section. So this enhancement brings you the function of viewing individual bonus calculations. Okay, so whichever are available in the variable pay, that can be viewed in this particular section. Okay, moving on to the next one. So this is related to rewards and recognition, and it came up from a customer community basically. So where whenever you are giving an award, by default, an email notification will be triggered to the respective managers. Okay, so whenever you are giving awards to employees, the manager used to receive a default notification. But some customers raise that, like, for example, if you are giving awards to 100 employees, then 100 different notifications will be triggered to manager, and that will be like a challenge for managers to see, like, oh my god, so these many notifications coming through and all. So this time we enabled a functionality, say you can exclude automatically copying the manager when sending in email notifications to award recipients. So by enabling this functionality, so email notification will not be triggered to managers. So I mean, this can be enabled or disabled, it's up to you, but this functionality is enabled this time. Okay, so next one is about recognize quick actions and related notification cards in Microsoft. This is a very good functionality, I would like to say, because it is integrated now with the Microsoft Teams. And not only that, so when you will have a section for Microsoft, when you have integrated with Microsoft in the Teams itself, you can raise a reward, you can give a award directly from the Teams itself. You can choose to whom you need to raise an award, and you can select and give what kind of award you wanted to give it to the employees. So you don't have to go into SuccessFactors in order to give an award. So it's more easier and to give an award in this section. So this picture was developed for users to easily recognize colleagues' contribution and achievements in everyday business social scenarios. Okay, and the next one is also related to the same extension of a Microsoft Teams, where you have more notification cards. So in this, we are saying it's not on, earlier one was the rewards and recognition one, and here the notification card is related to the statements. So the SAP SuccessFactors app sends the review compensation statement task to prompt users to complete it. So you can track it. So whether the statements review task is completed or not, so that can be tracked, as you can see it on the screen. So it's related to the statement task which is completed. So like this, like more coming up in the next releases as well. So, but these are like wonderful features, like in the linking with your teams, and accessing is very, very much useful.
Great,
That's all
thank
about the
you.
changes. Yeah.
Thank you, Vidya. We unfortunately don't have any time to cover some questions, and we'll have to move straight into the next topic, which will be SuccessFactors, succession and career development planning. Oh, sorry, performance and goals management with Joanna.
Thank you.
Hey, hi everyone. I am excited to share some key highlights from the first half 2024 release in PMGM modules. The first two slides, deprecation of legacy goal management and latest goal management, now opt-out, will be discussed in more details by my colleague Jessie on the occasion of the succession and development module. So Phoebe, I can go quickly to the next slides and tell about a few changes you probably know because they were announced before. So the legacy version of continuous performance management will be deleted as of May 17, 2024. And if you're still on the legacy version, your company will be automatically upgraded both web and mobile apps to the latest version after the deletion date. The next one, please, Phoebe. The legacy My Forms page for performance management and 360 reviews is undergoing significant changes, which I will talk about on the next slide. But I would like to point out that currently users have the option to opt out of the new version. What is important with the first half 2025 release, the latest version will be out universally pushed, so users will no longer have the options to switch back to the legacy version. So the most recent version of my forms page, as I said before, brings several improvements for performance management and 360 reviews. And the most important are, instead of using the term subject, the system now refers to individuals as employees. This change makes it more accessible for users who may not be familiar with the technical term. And user can now sort of the table of forms by selecting column headers. And the last, if the option allow form creator to select one as a subject is enabled, users can choose from a default list of employees, or they can perform a search after selecting the search among all employees checkbox. And in the latest goal management, I think that the next one, Phoebe, and then in the latest goal management for users with the manage initiative permissions, there's a new possibility, the following. Users can now create initiatives and initiative groups directly within manage initiatives in the admin center. They can easily assign initiative groups to either individual users or specific goal plans. And they can also share initiative groups and their administrative privileges with others. This feature bridges the gap between the individual team goals and organizational strategies and ensures that every employee is aligned with and contributing directly to strategic goals. Next, please, Phoebe. And the next new feature is expected ratings for behaviors in the detailed 360 reports. Users can now view these ratings, as you can see on the screenshot. They are displayed as vertical bars, each accompanied by numeric values. And these visual indicators are available in both the graphical summary view and tabular views. Another new feature, the next slide, with this release is that the continuous feedback request cards now are available directly on the SAP SuccessFactors homepage. This enhancement is designed to streamline and optimize the feedback process for employees. Employees receiving a feedback request can now instantly see and take actions either to provide feedback or decline the invitation directly from their homepage. So when multiple feedback requests are pending, they are conveniently organized as a deck of cards. And by selecting View All, users can open a dialog box that displays all pending requests, ensuring that no request is missed or overlooked. Options like hide individual requests and reminders like remind me tomorrow or hide for 7 days are available for better management of feedback requests. And previously, the feedback request card was only accessible via the to-do panel separate from the homepage. So in my opinion, now it's more visible, making it intuitive and user-friendly. A new feature in the latest goal management is the goal weight display, also in mobile apps for iOS and Android. And this enhancement was one of the most frequently mentioned and requested by customers. So the goal weight is now displayed in the goal plan header and on goal cards. On a goal card, a percentage preceded by a balance scale icon indicates the weight of this goal. And in the goal plan header, the total weight at the goal plan level is shown in percentage value. The goal alignment chart is a new powerful tool available to users in this release. It provides a visual representation of how goals align across different levels within an organization. Users can now access the alignment chart from either a goal card or the goal details view. By default, the goal alignment chart displays 3 levels of alignment: individual goals, team goals, and organizational goals, and works seamlessly across multiple goal plan templates, mainly to help users understand how goals cascade from organizational objectives to individual goals, and of course to track the progress of goals at different levels, ensuring that everyone is moving in the right direction. The next one, Phoebe, please. Go. And now a few words about redesigned experience for StackRanker in performance management, which allows now managers to view descriptions associated with rating scales. They can choose which employees to display in the StackRanker, where previously certain employees couldn't be hidden from view. They can also filter and search for specific competencies or skills. So all of this allows to personalize their grid view and empowers managers with a user-friendly interface, of course, enabling them to make data-driven decisions effectively. And on the next slide, shortly about the next update. In the latest version of goal management, it has been introduced a valuable enhancement, the search box for unassigning team goals. When team goal owners need to unassign someone from a team goal, they can now utilize the search box within the unassigned team goal dialog. These search functions allows team goal owners to quickly locate a specific person and take necessary actions. Prior to this enhancement, team goals owners had to manually scroll through the entire assignee list to find the person they wanted to unassign. And the next one, with the integration of SAP SuccessFactors and Microsoft 365, users can now trigger the create activity action directly within Microsoft Teams. And when creating it, users have the option to link it to relevant performance or development goals. Once an activity is completed, users can mark it as an achievement. Additionally, they can select an achieved on date, providing context and timeline information. It's important to mention that activities created in Teams only appear in users channel with their line manager. And 2 last slides about AI writing assistant in SAP SuccessFactors application and creating personal goals using generative AI. My colleague Jessie will say a lot, so thank you very much for your attention. I will now give the floor to the next speaker.
Great, thank you, Joanna. We will move straight into SuccessFactors, succession and career development planning with Jessie.
Thanks, Phoebe. Okay, so this is Jessie, and we will bring us through the release for succession and career development for this H1 release. So let's start. So first one is to reinstate or reinforce the message that Joanna shared earlier when it comes to the deprecation of our legacy goal management tool. So if you are using performance or development goal feature in SuccessFactors and you still haven't upgraded to our latest goal management tool yet, please take note that this legacy version of goal management tool is being replaced in this release, and it will mean the end of maintenance by May 17th this year, so that we no longer can submit any support ticket if you face any issue while using the legacy version of goal management tool. And when it comes to the next slide, it's also related to this upgrade to our latest goal management tool. Because now in this release, SuccessFactors is globally pushing our latest goal management tool to all the instances or all the SuccessFactors environment, so that if you are still not ready for this upgrade to the latest tool, so we do have another the one last chance for us to opt out of this upgrade. So please be aware of this 30 days gap from our release date. Within this 30 days gap, you will still be able to choose to opt out of this latest upgrade and revert back to our legacy version of Goal Management Tool. But afterwards, if you miss the gap, or if you decided that this is the chance for me to upgrade already, then the good news is SAP will be pushing this upgrade to you universally. And also be aware for our next upgrade, when it comes to the second half of 2024, there's no longer a chance for us to opt out for the latest tool. So we will have to be prepared for the next release. And I would say if you still haven't moved to the latest tool yet, use this chance to start preparing for it, and then move to the latest Goal Management Tool before next universal push. Okay, so we will now go ahead with some other exciting updates about our latest Goal Management Tool. So first will be the redesigned experience for our Goal creation option. So now with this change of Goal creation page, SuccessFactors is trying to push for a more dialogue-based user experience when it comes to creating new goal. So in terms of functionality, there's no change from before. So you still have the same features to create goal, either from scratch or create it from a library or create it from a goal library. But this UI change is to follow the trend nowadays, where you interact with the system to action on things, as well as paving the ways for AI changes later on. So in one of the update later on we see for AI changes, you will see why this why is the reason that we are bringing in this new user experience for creating goals. So if we go to the next slide, thank you. So this will be another feature parity that we upgrade that we are seeing for our latest Goal Management Tool. So we do understand from some of our clients, they have invested a lot of time and maybe even resources to purchase or to set up some of the coaching advisor or writing assistance for our development goal features. And previously, when we upgrade to the latest Goal Management Tool, these features will not be supported in the latest Goal Management Tool. And many of our clients is worried about this upgrade, and hence they still try to stay with the legacy ones instead of being going with the upgrade. So now with this release, the writing assistant and coaching advisor is finally available to our latest Goal Management Tool. So if this is one of the reasons that you decided not to update, so this is the time that SuccessFactors have proven you that it's time for you to go ahead with the upgrade to the latest tool. Yeah. So if we go ahead with the next one, so this will be the one of my favorite, I would say, for our career development update for this release. So now we have the new experience for using our career worksheet, because now the user interface will look a lot hipster-like, trendier. And then also when it comes to integration, there's a lot more integration option when it comes to our new look with career worksheet. So it's much more integrated now with our growth portfolio. Also, it's also integrated with our opportunity marketplace. So now for career worksheet, not only can you just view your current role as well as the target role for exploring, you can also explore what's the skill set that you will need for your future role, as well as what are the job opportunities that you can use or you can sign up yourself for to improve your skill or competencies to attain the future job role. So with this well-integrated tool, there's a lot more options for you to explore more career opportunities within the organization itself. So this is a customer configured update. So we do recommend that if you find this very interesting, start engaging our support team from Zalaris, and we will work with you together to enable this new look and feel for career worksheet. And if we go to the next slide for career development, so this one is another feature for AI recommendation of career opportunities. So with this new update about viewing employees' career opportunities in Career Explorer, this is introduced by SAP to, in a way, this is recommended by SAP in a way to ensure that we have some conscious usage when it comes to our AI tool for recommending our job opportunities. So what administrator can do is to review beforehand what are the opportunities that it's recommended by AI. So to make sure that it's all well trained and it's appropriate before they release this to the end user. So I would say it's a very nice tool to have just to ensure that AI is working with us, not against us. So now if we go ahead with the next slide, so this will be on the mentoring tool for assessing continuous performance. So this is one of the most asked requests from our client, because previously there's no way for us to update any of our ongoing activities on mentoring with our continuous performance features. So now it's well integrated, and you will be able to use continuous performance feature directly from your mentoring view. And for the next slides, thanks, Vicky. So for the next few slides, it's all related to our generative AI tool that has been introduced by SuccessFactors in this release. So first we'll be creating personal goals using generative AI. So in one of the slides before, we mentioned about having a dialogue view when it comes to creation of new goals. So if we have AI technology enabled for our SuccessFactors, now you have also the version to create new goals assisted by AI technology. So when you are just typing a few words and you choose to generate AI response, so AI will actually help us to write up our goal and the goal details for us. Now, in case saving us a lot of time to think about the right word to use when it comes to creating goals. So this is not just about creating goals. So if we move on to the next slide, you will see that in a lot of other functionality within SuccessFactors for performance and development, you will now be able to use our AI technologies to assist us with writing. So if you are like me, when it comes to performance review, you need a lot of time to think about what to write in your comments. Now this generative AI tool can help you to write the message in the right tone, in the right language, and also to help you to fix some of your grammatic error. So it's again very efficient to help you to improve some efficiencies, also to ensure that you don't get scared about doing your year-end review anymore. Yeah. So if we look at the next slide too, so this is more of an administrative tool, just to give your administrator the control to make sure that you only turn on AI technology for the ones that you have. So now you will have an AI services administrative page, which you can choose which are the functionality within performance goals, performance review, as well as development goal that you may want to turn on AI technology for. So these are all the releases that I have included for this, and you can also look back to our ebook later on for more details about this release.
Great, thank you, Jessie. It's good to see that this update is making the most of AI technology advances. We will now move on to Claire, who will take us through the SuccessFactors Opportunity Marketplace.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jessie. Thanks, Phoebe. So for Opportunity Marketplace, a module that not many have explored yet, but I'm sure many of you are tracking what's going on in this space. So a lot of AI talk this release, and Opportunity Marketplace did not want to be left behind. So we've got 2 new AI recommendation sections within Opportunity Marketplace. The first is Ignite Your Role, putting a bit of a focus around your current role. So we always talk about development for the next role, but we really need to also lay the focus on your current role. So this section will push out AI recommendations based on the role you're currently in. The next one is reach your aspirations, which is around targeting your skills for growth. So your next roles, whether they be in the organisation, outside the organisation, but future development. So AI will feed us some new recommendations into those sections. The next release item we're going to talk about is a continuation of the AI technology. So into the algorithm, they've added internal job opportunities from recruitment. So these will feed into the top picks for you and ignite your role and reach your aspirations. So it's about enriching the opportunity types that are being pushed out via the AI recommendations to ensure that employees are getting the most relevant opportunities presented to them. And it's also about promoting cross-pollination within your organisation to encourage employees to explore internal opportunities for growth to really mitigate the potential that they might be looking externally. Next one we've got is accepting assignments. So they now come through to the homepage for the end user to accept. Previously, you had to go into Opportunity Marketplace. So this is just bringing consistency to, I guess, the user experience and how they're accessing it. Not yet supported on the mobile app, probably important to note. And the next one we have is updating background images. It seems like a small one, but it takes us away from using default images in Opportunity Marketplace and allows you to provide your own branding against assignments within Opportunity Marketplace. So another great opportunity within the solution to present your employer of choice branding, and particularly in scenarios where it makes sense, the owners of the assignments can provide a really specific image relative to the assignment that they're promoting. So think small, but has a fairly good impact. Last one I'm going to talk about is being able to mark opportunities as not interested. So often you'll see things being presented to you. You can very quickly flag that that's not what I want to see. And that's just all around improving the AI recommendations that are coming from the engine, so that you then won't see other opportunities similar to that. So as focused recommendations as possible. So yeah, thank you for listening to the Opportunity Marketplace updates. Thanks, Phoebe.
Great. Thank you, Claire, for taking us through that. We do have a question relating to AI in the Opportunity Marketplace. Is it enabled via Joule or more of an intelligence in providing better recommendation to the users?
Yeah, great question. So it is not specifically leveraging Joule. It has its own AI technology engine built within it. So it's very similar to what Jessie was talking about with the AI recommendations coming into the way that you're writing your goals. It's all coming from that generative AI layer. So not specifically Joule. There are no Joule transactions yet available for Opportunity Marketplace, but I have no doubt that's on the horizon. Thanks, Phoebe.
Great. Thank you, Claire, for clearing that up. We will now move into our final topic, which is people analytics, and Laura will take us through this.
Hello, everyone. So in this section, I'll be covering both updates to the classic legacy reporting tools and story reporting updates. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the deprecation announcement for Canvas reporting. In this release, it's being rolled back, and currently there will be no set dates for Canvas reporting to be removed. The only thing that we have to take into the account is that the existing customers can continue using Canvas reporting as they were until now, but the net new customers won't have this reporting tool available. And the report distribution tool that is often used with legacy reporting tools also has no end date currently, but more information is yet to come in the next year second half release. It's the same for table reports. The deprecation announcement has been rolled back, and the same as Canvas and report distributor tool. You can still keep using these until the further notice from SAP. However, tiles and dashboards will be deleted in the second half release of 2025. So until this date, you have to find a different solution through Story, most likely, how to transform your tiles and dashboards into a different tool. In this release, the classic reporting tool keeps the end date that was previously set. So classic reports will be phased out in second half release of this year. However, 3 things from this tool will be kept. So we will still have the objective search, the document search, and archive and print. So this will stay even when the classic reports will be deleted from the system. And then comes an update to a story reporting, and we will see a new data schema available in story reports. And this is in relation to legacy reporting tools. We'll be able to report on all report information, the table report details, the details on tiles and dashboards, and also have some historic data on report generation and how much the reports are shared. This has a limitation of 12 months and can possibly help you to see what is used in your organization and maybe create a better plan on to moving to new reporting tools in the future. Then comes another new schema for story reporting, and this is in regards to time management. We'll have possibility to finally report on planned working time. Previously, there was possibility only to do an ad hoc reporting on work schedule. We could pull out the data of the work schedule. But now we can actually get the planned working time that is visible in the timesheet and report on this. So this change comes to remove the gaps in story reporting and have it have the widest data available from all the reporting tools. Locale specific formats will also be supported in stories. So if you have worked with story reporting tool before, you will notice that all the dates, time, and number formats are in US English currently. But with the new release, it will follow the locale that you have selected in SuccessFactors. And this is a change that will be available only when the release will come to production instances. So it's not available yet to test and preview. The same goes for this one. It's the invalidation of stories due to changes in the schema. So this will be sort of a validation and indicator tool that something is wrong with your story reporting, be it because something has changed in the system, something has been removed that was referenced in the query. And now the reporting center will show you that something is wrong with the story, and an admin then can come into the report and either fix it up so it works again or choose to remove it if that's applicable. And also this change will only be available in the production release.
Great, thank you, Laura. We do have a quick question just about the locale format. Will this format also work well in Excel?
It should. We have no way to test this currently, but when you're exporting the story reports to the Excel, you have a possibility to keep the format, so that should work together.
Okay, great. Thank you. That brings us to the end of today's session. Unfortunately, we won't be able to answer any more questions. However, if you do have any more questions, feel free to reach out to us, we will put our contact details in the chat. I want to assure you that if anyone is feeling overwhelmed with all of these changes and are requiring some more information, we have got you covered and will support you in making the most out of the release cycle for your company. An ebook and infographic will become available to everyone by the end of the week, and everyone who has attended today will receive this as soon as it becomes available. The infographic will provide an easy overview of the most notable changes to look out for. In addition, you will also be receiving a recording of this session if there is anything that you want to go back over. I would also like to take this opportunity to inform you about our upcoming events. You can meet us at both Success Connect in Portugal and Unleash in Paris in October. We have free tickets for both events, which we will be giving away soon, so keep an eye out for an email. Thank you again to our experts today for their insights, and thank you all for taking the time to participate today. Take care, have a good rest of your day. I will be signing off soon and we will close the webinar in a few moments. So if there are any more questions, we look forward to hearing from you. Have a good day, and I will close the session.